Hello, Jade. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Last night was a fucking mess of Wi-Fi disconnects and Discord malfunctions, and today is the complete opposite. At least for me, because you had your Discord fuck up, but I didn't have a Discord fuck up because I'm cooler. I'm better now. I'm better.
You're better now. Well, my
better
Discord was
than
fucking
you.
up on the last episode. If anybody did notice how like laggy anything
Oh
I
yeah, but that was
screenshot was.
that was just because of Wi-Fi. Though. That was my end.
You think so? Because
Yeah.
I was having constant stream issues with Discord.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I just
Yeah.
chalked it up to Wi-Fi on my end because that's normally the issue. But
But
I
you did
think
learn a lot about Wi-Fi
I
last
learned a lot
night.
about Wi-Fi last night. I learned different positioning of my router and the router booster thing that I have. I moved it, so now hopefully Wi-Fi should be better. I haven't had a single Wi-Fi issue all day, when yesterday I had like 30. So hopefully everything's fixed. I'd be
I love
happy
it.
if it
I love it.
was. Jade got really excited teaching me about it because Jade used to work at an Amazon help center.
That's uh I wouldn't I look, I worked for that rich guy. I did customer support, which if you've ever gotten me on customer support, like I'm just so sorry. I'm just so sorry. The systems are far more broken than I could really tell you at the time, but
Do you
you
have any
know,
NDAs signed?
yes,
Do you?
yes.
Oh,
That's
that's
why,
great.
like, I was not going to mention the name of which large corporation.
Wait, you can't say what company you worked for?
I can. It's just I prefer not to because
Uh,
making
you can
people
censor it
that
out.
rich angry,
You can censor it
making
out.
that
They're not
people.
gonna give a shit on our 10 view podcast. Not gonna lie. They're never gonna know. Even if
Look,
it was 1 million, they'd never know. They wouldn't give a fuck.
mm,
If you said one thing about, yeah, the servers are broken, they wouldn't give a shit.
no, it's not so much like the servers are broken. It's just like the look. This is the only little peek from the inside I can really give, I guess, on the podcast. But the people you talk to when you call in, right? The
Hmm.
the the customer support people,
Yeah.
they're far more restricted in what they're able to do for you at a first contact level. And the
Yeah, I've
next
always,
person
assumed
over,
that.
that even if you get to that person's supervisor is
Also in the dark.
just as restricted in what
Yeah.
they are able to say and do. Take
Yeah.
it easy on these people. They really they have both their hands tied behind their back.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
I've luckily never had to call into like a help center like that. I probably will one day, but not at the moment. I haven't had to use it.
the
Um,
thing is like there's a reason because what's the biggest complaint about it from the outside is the canned responses that come like too late.
mhm.
The workload is quite. If you know anything about Amazon drivers,
Yeah,
it's
like the
yeah,
same. It's gonna be the same conditions.
yeah,
Adjusted to different
in
job.
adjusted to the different job. But
Yeah.
yes, it is very much the same. Remember, that is the company culture. There's a difference between like the culture of the people in the bottom of the company and the company's culture
Yeah.
as people are learning about Mr. Beast.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, yeah. What
So
you've
where
been
did
up
you
to?
eventually put the router
Oh, I just put it into a plug in a corner of the room, of my living room, because
in the living
well,
room?
I didn't move the router. I moved the Wi-Fi
The
extender, and so far
extender.
that's been fine then.
Okay. Well, that does make sense, especially if it's creating the kind of connection that I imagined.
Yeah.
Then your machine is now connecting to the extender, which is then connecting in line with the router. Nothing, and very little is.
No, I don't think I'm connecting to the extender because when I put in my information, and everything, it's just the Wi-Fi information.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
how that works through the extender is,
I thought I'm just
well,
connecting to the Wi-Fi that's being extended by the extender.
right. So that's all. So
I'm not
that's
connecting to the
essentially what.
extender.
Well, I mean, in a way, you
I
are. You're
guess. I
not
guess.
connecting directly to your router. You're going through the extenders, pushed out like network from that side.
I
And
guess
that's
that's
why you're
true.
not getting the interference through the kitchen anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, the reason why it was all getting interfered like is because it was going through my kitchen, and that's the most metally part of the house, where all the fucking lead lined refrigerator, not lead lined refrigerator, but big old refrigerator is.
Indy's
Yeah, the
refrigerator.
Indiana Jones lead lined refrigerator. But Jade, what have you been up to since last time we recorded the podcast? You been doing anything?
Um, my car is still broke, so I mean,
That sucks.
I haven't been able to get anywhere.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like
So
even online,
it's
like, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? What have you been playing? What have you been doing? How's things been?
so uh I've even struggled to keep up with some of the news because some of it is wild, but mostly just trying to like
Holy shit, do
catch
we?
up on everything the
We do.
past week.
There is a lot of wild news actually.
I did try a new game, Prey.
Right, yeah. So you streamed it, yeah.
Have you played it?
I have never played Prey.
So, I am so at a loss for what to do next because I think the game is fantastic,
Right.
right? What I'm about to say is not a critique of the game,
Yeah.
but I don't think that the gameplay works for me.
Oh, really? What is the gameplay like?
So, Prey to me looked like I knew the original Prey, and it's a shooter. Like Prey
Right.
is, and in my mind, like the new Prey as well is also kind of a shooter. Yeah, you do start off with like the wrench, the pistol with like no ammo, like simple stuff,
Right.
but
Right.
you are so squishy and so like it feels heavier. It's slow paced in a way that isn't necessarily comfortable. Like
Right. I think
like
I get what you're describing.
I feel like it'll loosen up if I upgrade, but I am so bad right now that it is actually difficult to
I
get
think
started.
maybe give it a bit more time. Just give it a little bit more time to see if something about it changes and it clicks. Because a lot of the
But
times
that's
with
the
games
other
like that,
part of it,
where
right?
if it doesn't, give it like another session, right? Give it
Here's the
another session.
question though that I have for you, since we both stream.
Yeah.
What what do you feel when you start realizing you might be bad at a game on stream?
Well, I'll talk
Like
about
you've
this
never
using the
like a blind
forest.
faith
I'll
you
do the forest because the forest is the game that I'm not going back to. I played it once on stream, thought it would be fun. I'm like, I'm not playing this again on stream. I'll play this in private, but I'm not playing this on stream. And normally what I do is I go, damn, shit sucks, and then I kind of just interact with chat a lot, or like just kind of talk to myself a bit until I'm able to be like, all right, that's like 3.5 hours. I can end stream. That's typically what I do. That's typically what I do, and then I don't stream that game again. That's typically what I do.
because even today, right? The last couple of days actually, I've been watching Twitch and there's a couple of streamers who've hit the wall in some new games they're trying as well. Where they realize like the games that they generally play and the game that they're currently playing are not the same thing, and they
Right.
just fall apart on stream and they change games.
I did that
Like
with
they play
Fallout
something for
2.
like
I did that
45
with Fallout
minutes
2, where I
and
was
they're
playing
just like,
Fallout 2, and then I started playing what was it? Did I start playing Minecraft? Then I started playing Sky Factory.
yeah,
Yeah, I do
it
want to go
was
back to I
different.
do want to go back to playing Sky Factory. But I probably
Would
shouldn't
Fly
start.
Factory not be fun like with someone?
Yeah, but then I'd have to set up. I mean, setting up a server shouldn't be that hard to do. I mean, I already did it for the Rent-A-Craft thing, but we could have to set up a server. I'd have to like get into that again. I haven't gone on to the Minecraft server in a while either. I probably should get back on that. It was just
I
because no one
feel
else was
like
playing it, so then it was just like, man. And it was around when you were really busy for a bit, so I wasn't able to play with you, and it was just like, blah, 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 blah.
maybe a reboot could do. I know
Man,
like a lot of
not
work
right
went
now. Maybe next year, like January. Maybe in January.
But like the next time it gets started up, I mean, a reboot probably be the best idea, just in my mind, for like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of leftover stuff in the server,
Yeah.
from explosions and such.
Yeah, because there was a lot of drama, all right,
Politics.
and a lot of Minecraft politics. But yeah, I do kind of want to get back into that. Maybe just playing Sentient, or
Got
maybe
wilder
whenever
than
the next update
Middle
comes
Earth.
out. Whenever the next update comes out, right?
Shit got wilder than Middle Earth for a while.
um, no, but you mentioned world news, and I honestly I haven't been keeping up with a lot of it either. But there's the one thing that I do want to talk about because it's really funny to me, and it's also completely non-surprising at all, and that's this bunch of news dropped about this, but a lot of right-wing pundits who are pro-Trump have been
Yes,
exposed as taking money from Russia. So I have this
yes.
NBC article opened up here. How some of the internet's most popular pro-Trump pundits ended up as paid messengers for Russian propaganda, and it shows a photo of Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and Tim Pool.
Are you bringing it up on the screen?
I have it on
Because
screen. Am I not screen sharing? Oops. I thought I
no.
was screen sharing. I'm not screen
Ooh,
sharing. Oops.
oops.
My bad.
There we go.
There we go. Uh, okay. So yeah, uh, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and a bunch of others have been. I think it was six. Featured six commentators. I wanted to name them all.
The thing is I think the big name there
Ten is
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 the only
is
one I recognize, which is Tim Pool.
really well. I recognize all three of them. These are the big. They're
Well,
all equally
I
as
I
notable.
watched this from outside of the US.
This is true, but Dave Rubin, I believe is the one who's like, I'm a former gay man. I
Oh
think
no,
he's one of
I
those
don't
people.
like those.
Benny Johnson is like kind of Benny Johnson to me reminds me of like I think he tries to be a comedian. I think that's the thing here with him. I forget. I don't really know much about Benny Johnson honestly, but Tim Pool's is like one of the big ones here because Tim Pool is it makes himself known. But yeah, they're getting money from Russia. They're non-zero chance that they see jail time.
Because
Um,
before this even hit, wasn't Tim Pool the topic of another Some News video where they basically just dug into the fact that he's an absolute fucking ghoul with what he says before this even
Tim
like
Pool
came to
is a
light?
ghoul. Tim Pool is an absolute ghoul. He's a complete spineless coward. He's one of those people who's like, oh, I'm a libertarian. You know, I listen to both sides. I form my opinions based on the right choices, not based on partisan politics. But then he always sides with the right wing on literally every single issue ever. So it's like, really, are you playing both sides here, or are you just masking your right wing allegiances because you're a coward? And I mean, like, I feel like the best way to describe Tim Pool is just insecurity or cowardice. Like he's insecure about his height. He's insecure about his baldness. Underneath this hat, he's like completely bald, and he just never takes off the hat. Every single appearance ever, even when he's in a fucking full suit, he's got that beanie on. On.
I've seen the video where they grab the hat off his head and he just everything breaks in his soul. You can see like he just becomes somebody else and he's just like, why? What have you done? What has you
Uh,
done?
I want the photo. There was a photo with him with Elijah Schaffer. Elijah Schaffer is a neo-Nazi who worked for I think the Blaze. Am I thinking if it was Elijah Schaffer? I don't know. Hold on. I think it was Elijah Schaffer. Simple tippy toes. I thought it was Elijah Schaffer. I think it is Elijah Schaffer. But you know, here he is standing on his tippy toes while in a photo with someone taller than him. This is like recent. Uh, yeah. I thought this was Elijah Schaffer. Is this not Elijah Schaffer? Yeah, Elijah Schaffer is a Nazi. That is him. I was right. Yeah, he's an yeah no. This guy he's fucked up. He's I want to apologize for being a fat Jewish lesbian. He's saying
But
mocking this person. Yeah, he's just a Nazi. He was fired
wait,
from
here's
the
the thing,
Blaze for
right?
being a Nazi, or was it what
Here's
was he
the
from? I
thing.
think it was the Blaze.
Right-wing politics internationally is worryingly on the rise.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you see it all over the place. Italy
Like
has
Germany
Italy,
had,
Germany, France, obviously
yeah,
Russia,
Germany
like all
had
over
a
the
local
place.
election where the Nazi
AFD, the
party basically
AFD,
got
which is
the
the alternative future for Germany, or alternative future for Deutschland. It's the D. But yeah, there's Le Pen's party in France. There is Meloni's party in Italy. The Tories and the the Tories are dying, and the Reform Party's taking their place in the UK, and the Reform Party is just another one of these Nazi parties. Obviously, the Republicans have taken a lot more of a right wing bend. Russia obviously has a
Do
lot of
you
influence in foreign
have
countries.
any
Russia's basically
theories
the
about what might be causing such a big
It's the
uptick in
decay.
right
It's the
wing?
decay of capitalism. It's the decay of capitalism. It's just as the world
But
becomes
like,
more and more like heated with issues that are fueled by like the death of capitalism, and people have become looking for alternatives. There's only one that really has any sort of lively movement, and it's the right wing movement. And it's because Russia is funding a lot of these right wing pundits to get their message out. And it's like a Russia is basically like the international home of right wing politics. They have the most amount of interest in spreading right wing parties. They mostly have their influence in America, honestly, and like a lot of like Middle Eastern countries and shit. But like, it's definitely hand in hand with like influence. Like again, a lot of these parties are always talking about Ukraine and
I
Russia,
I
right?
also think like part
Like,
of the problem now is that too many people point to Russia, point at communism, and then go, but they're left wing. And it's
right,
like
right,
they fail to understand the difference between like, a communist dictatorship and, you know,
right. They don't understand that communism is just an economic system, and the Soviet Union was an authoritarian government that used like fascism and then called it communism as Marxist Leninism.
yeah.
But that's like explaining that to someone is like you're already like so far away from what people are like expected like people's general standards and stuff. Like it's already so far away from the general parlance. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like it's a mess. It's like people are like, oh, communism is a failed ideology, and now fascism is the only way forward. It's like, okay, cool.
But it's but
And a
it's
lot of
like the
it,
fascism that is the failure.
it's a mix of like just some of the most greatest propaganda campaigns in history. It's a um mix of like the death of capitalism. It's a mix of like Russia being Russia. It's a mix of just horrible racism and shit festering and stewing on the internet. It's a lot of things coming together, and now we have this huge right wing shift. COVID-19, a lot of inflation and stuff. I mean, a lot of it, honestly, as much as Russia, I'm saying about Russia, it's also the Republican Party because the Republican brain rot has spread to a lot of other countries. Like Argentina, Milei is entirely like a fucking is entirely like an American brained fucking sort of libertarian and capitalism. Uh, Bolsonaro in Brazil, he's the last prime minister. He was very much like a MAGA kind of adjacent person. Obviously not MAGA, but like him and Trump were
So,
close.
like on that
They did
note
their own
as
Jan
well,
6th.
in South Africa, the DA, right?
Yeah,
The leading opposition party to the
yeah.
ANC, the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, has hired an openly racist right wing fan of Trump
Oh God.
Republican person to his fucking department.
Yeah, so they just really
And
don't want to win
like
ever.
this is a
It's
guy
crazy.
who openly said like things were better before 1993. Like,
Damn, damn. They really don't want to win, do they? They really don't want to win.
what do you mean don't want to win? Like they're in government now. They're
I'm
this is
talking
how
like
this
they
is
don't want to
happening.
like. I'm talking about like when I mean they don't want to win. I'm talking about like absolute majority. Like they don't want to like. Oh, they really don't want to be like make it easy for themselves here. They want to make it as hard as possible.
But that's the thing. Racism is stupid. Like on its face, racism is just
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah, yeah.
So when you put the racists in positions of power, they do stupid things.
You know, I think
Like
that's
I have
I
to
th-
constantly explain to like paler folk who live here in South Africa. It's like you do realize all your complaining. You live in a country that is where you are the minority. You are the there's
yeah,
85% of people who live here who
yeah,
know
yeah,
that you are the minority. It's
yeah.
different.
Um. One second. Fuck. All right. Yeah. No. Like, I think that's a good uh coping thing. Like, so, like taking what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's comforting, I guess, to say that a lot of these right wing governments are already like failing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not winning. Like France, the Le Pen's party. I forget the National Rally. That's their
Like,
party. The National Rally.
they're getting
Uh,
bigger, and
the
things
National
like the
Rally
AFD
lost the
winning is
last
happening.
election. They lost the snap election in France. The left coalition won. The only issue there is that Macron, the leader of the centrist coalition, refused to put in a leftist prime minister, president or whatever the fuck, until for like 6 weeks or some shit, and he only recently put in someone. Um, then you have I mean, like, you have a bunch of countries that still have their right way. Like Orban in Hungary is still pretty big. You have what's
But
his name? The Turkish guy. What's the
denying,
Turkish guy's name?
there's no denying that
Erdogan. Erdogan.
these things are on the rise.
Yeah, they are absolutely on the rise. There's so many countries. Again, the AFD
Like,
in Germany, the
consider
national the
consider how much of a sharp turn this is,
Reform
right?
Party.
When in South Africa, I talk about the DA being led by John Steenhuisen, who's, Trump fan, Republican leaning sort of politics, right? Just as short as the previous elections, the head of the DA was a guy called Musi Maimane,
Yeah, you showed me this guy. He was like
who was
someone
super
progressive.
left
Oh, super
wing,
left. Oh, I thought he was just like someone
super
progressive.
like impressive resume of policy. He had such good ideas about how, like, where the country should go in the future, and this shows you this stuff's on the rise a lot sharper, and I think people need to pay attention to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It's
it's pretty bad.
downplaying it
It's pretty bad.
that I feel like is part of the problem.
I think depending on how the elections go in America in November, we could see either it get worse or better. Because I think if America continues to be not as right wing and calms down a bit, I think that because America is like, let's not beat around the bush, the most influential country in the world, except for
Yes.
China, right? Um,
China has a
has
more
is more
quiet
regional. It's a more
influence.
regional and more like
China
in the
has a
third
quiet
world,
type of
where like
influence.
America influences the whole world. China's very influential with its money where its money
Yeah.
goes. Where like in like African countries and stuff,
Mm.
and like North Central American countries.
BRICS.
Yeah, BRICS. Well, BRICS is useless. I'm more so talking about like their investment in like the Belt and
Oh,
Road Initiative. BRICS
the
is Brick
South African
BRICS
government loves being part of BRICS.
BRICS has less money than like the state of Vermont. BRICS is ridiculously dog shit. There are people in America who are like upper middle class who make more money than BRICS is able to pull together. Like, BRICS is ridiculously useless. It
Well, I
was
mean,
nothing.
the only country, only
Think of the
countries in
five
BRICS that actually add any value is
think of the
India and
five
China.
nations in BRICS that are like the name nations. You have Brazil, who's an American ally, Russia, who's Russia, India, who's hates China, in China,
Yeah,
which hates India, and somewhat hates Russia, and then what's S again? South Africa,
yeah.
which is an American ally. Like, this
Look,
is a
we're an
dog shit.
American
And then
ally
you look at the
loosely
other members. You look at
speaking,
the other
so
members. You have Iran, who hates India. You have, you have Saudi Arabia,
so
who's an American
so
ally. Like, what is this
wait.
alliance, dude? What the fuck are you
Here's a
doing?
moment for you, Riley.
Yes,
So recently, the South African president Cyril Ramaphosa,
yes,
right, and the South African government as a whole came
yeah.
out to reaffirm its
Bricks.
belief in
Yeah.
the one China policy as China's navy
The fuck
slowly
is
surrounds
the fuck is
Taiwan.
Ramaphosa doing, dude? What the fuck?
So when you say South Africa is an American
But they
ally,
are
we're an
though. Like,
American. No, no, but that's the thing is that
you're
we're an
they're
American
only saying
ally
that because of
insofar as it works for Russia. Because what's happening is that South Africa, I looked at the business news actually, and in South Africa, they are courting the Western companies. They are actively seeking out the Western companies that pulled out of Russia.
yeah.
We have financial ties to Russia, economic trade and stuff. So the money we get from the companies that pulled out of Russia can now be funneled back to, because it doesn't matter that the companies pulled out of Russia.
Right.
Russia finds its ways, and South
Well,
Africa is
Russia
one of
actually
them.
doesn't find
We
its ways.
look like
Russia
a
is
Western
rapidly
ally.
plummeting economy.
We
Russia
look
has
like,
worse
what
inflation
I'm
than South
saying is
Africa.
that there are countries out there that look like Western allies, but they're not really.
I see what you mean, but still, South Africa
Yeah.
is nowhere near being like a Chinese ally, like fucking like other countries are. Like it's pretty
When
funny,
push
the
comes to
BRICS,
shove,
especially Brazil.
World
Brazil
War,
especially is the funniest one.
when push comes to shove, in a world war, I
But South
do
Africa would be
see
neutral.
South Africa lean. No, I do see South Africa leaning east.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. It depends on
But
how the
not
economic
my
situation in South
politics,
Africa
but it is
goes.
it is what I see happening, because although we have strong ties to the West, our presidents, for example, or our political leaders, there's a big joke that they hate the West, but they wear like Armani suits and Rolexes and drive like Mercedes Benz, and just like any
Yeah.
other third world government who claims to hate the West, yet has like is dripped
Yeah.
out in nothing
Oh
but the
shit.
best of the
I always
West.
forget to mute my fucking phone. It's I stopped going off, please,
Mhm.
phone. Yeah.
But when push comes to shove, if it really came to like World War time and we and South Africa as a nation had to pick a side, it would be very much civil in some ways. Lots of people wouldn't agree, but South Africa as a whole would probably lean east.
Hmm. But if it was under the ANC,
Hmm.
if it was like
Mhm.
the EFF or the DA, whatever the fuck, it would be a different
If the
story.
EFF took over, they would 120%
To go
go.
east.
If the DA won, they would go west, but more likely if America went Republican.
Yeah, I see that.
So the DA is the one,
Which I think the only
like
way we're getting a World
big
War
South
Three is if America goes Republican. Honestly, that's the only way we're getting a World War Three.
I can
if
see
if
that.
if
I can
Trump
see that.
wins, we're more likely to go down a road that leads us to World War Three than if Kamala Harris
More
wins. Like,
likely, yes.
yes,
But
like
I think the
definite. I don't know.
clincher there would be Project 2025.
Yeah, which
If
that's a whole can of
that
worms that we're
is
not getting into
enacted,
this episode of the
no,
podcast.
we won't get into it. But if it
We can
is
talk about that close
enacted,
to the
then
election.
I can see that happening a World War
Yeah,
Three
yeah, yeah.
route. But if it's just another shitty Trump presidency, I think America can actually survive that.
Yeah, exactly. I think yeah, unless if Project 25
But
doesn't go through, we can survive Trump
yeah,
presidency. But if Project 2025 does go through, yeah, it's basically the end of U.S. democracy. But we'll get into a different podcast episode, um,
closer
because
to election.
that's really fucking grim. I want to talk about uh what I did this week because two things. One, I got my top row of braces off, which is very nice. I have teeth that are free now. They're free. They exist. I don't have to like I could lick my teeth and they don't have metal
Free
in the
the
way.
teeth.
It's very nice. And then the other thing, the thing that I actually want to talk about more is my classes have started again for my third semester of college.
Introduction to
Yes.
capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking a few small classes, world literature class, public speaking, blah blah blah, statistics, boring, 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 boring. But the two that are standouts in both good and bad ways are the good standout is American Sign Language. ASL, American
Okay.
Sign Language. I like the class so far. I'm very excited to be in it more because I'm very interested in sign language. It's a very interesting language. It doesn't really follow any sort of norms of any other language, obviously, because it's not spoken. Uh, it doesn't follow. It certainly doesn't follow the fucking the rules of English. And I'm very interested to see where it goes. And I have two classes that this semester and next semester is ASL 1 and 2. So it'll be a nice time. It'll be going for a while. Hopefully I'm good. I get good at this. Um
I believe.
and for the thing that's going to be our next segment is my economics class. Cuz oh my god, it's a
Mm.
macroeconomics class and my professor I'm sitting in the classroom. We go to the classroom, and she's this she's like probably like in her 50s. She's like a 50-year-old Indian lady with a very thick accent. Um, and it's already hard to understand what she's saying because of her accent, but she's just rambling and rambling and rambling, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I want you to tell me the names and your major and why are you in this class." And basically that boiled down to, "Hi, my name's Brandon. I'm a business major. I'm taking this class because it's a required course. Literally every person. This is a required course for literally every single student in the college. Because it's a requirement for a liberal arts degree, which is the only thing the school offers at an associate's level. Because it's a liberal arts degree, you're getting that in associate. So like, yeah, it's like okay. So if you want to get the liberal arts degree and go on to a different college for your bachelor's, you need to take macroeconomics. So everyone's just saying, I need this for my major because that's the only reason why you take this class. Even if you're a business major, you need it to be a business major. So like it's such a stupid question, and it's so stupid. And then everyone's saying, pretty much everyone in the class was a business major. Everyone was, I'm a history major, and everyone pretty much there was there was like one statistics major, some shit like math guy. There was a couple criminal justice majors. There was a sports management guy, and like that was it,
Sports management.
which is basically just a business major. Um, the business major, for those who aren't aware of the joke about business major is basically the degree you go for if you are just a fail son. It's the degree you go for if you're an athlete and you just need a degree so you can actually do college sports. That's where you go. That's what a business degree is for. A business degree is a
Oh,
nothing degree. It's there for like, yeah, I'm a businessman. I got a business degree. Therefore, I know about supply and demand. You're not becoming an economist. You're becoming a businessman. It's a nothing degree. Like the people, and this will be a lot of what I complain about in a second about my economics textbook, but business majors do absolutely nothing special. They're just, I go to school to be money man. That's what I go to school for. I'm a money man. Um, so
disgusting.
the professor the also fucked up in not assigning us the actual book. Normally when you in our college, when the books get assigned out, they tell the bookstore, hey, my class is going to need this as curriculum and I want it physically, so make sure you give them the physical book. And in our school, starting recently, the books are included in the tuition, so I don't have to pay for the books when they're included in the course, like beginning the first day set, right? So I got my like world literature textbooks for free, and I got my ASL textbook for free, but I didn't get the economics textbook because the economics textbook was supposed to be digital, which is like what my public speaking one is. That's what my statistics book is. Those are digital textbooks. And partially the ASL one is also the ASL physical thing. I just got was a code to access it, but whatever. So my economics teacher uh, wanted us to have physical books, but accidentally filled it out so that we were getting digital books. So she was very confused as to why none of us had the book, because we all thought we'd be getting it digitally, but she doesn't know how to do that. So she didn't assign the digital book at all. So I had to go through several like loops to get through it. You know how I found the economics textbook?
How?
I found it on my public speaking page. I found it because the public speaking textbook brought me to a site that had all of my textbooks accessible, and I had access to do that. So when I want to access my economics textbook, I have to go to my page for my public speaking because that's the only person who links that site.
And that's where you got the horrendous screenshots
And
you
that is
showed.
where I got the screenshots that I'm going to be talking about. So I read through the book
Oh,
with David last night. And the book, there was a lot of shit. There was a lot of crap that was complete bogus. I think real quick, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the full textbook here to give you like see if we can go through this on our own without going through the ones that I just found myself. But I have to sign into my school account, and that takes a bit because there's a lot of duo security stuff, a lot of shit like that where it's like, oh, make sure you sign in on the security app. But yeah, the textbook was completely insane.
security is important.
Their definition of economics was completely incorrect as well. Like it's not the real definition of economics. Um, we'll get into it. Let me just sign in here. I'll cut this all out later, I guess. I don't really think I need to actually. It's already going really quickly, but I have to go to public speaking, not economics. Public speaking, first day materials. It brings me to the site. There, and then I click economics. Make sure I'm not doxing my school when I have this open. Make sure, let's see.
Dead Cells just
What the?
finished.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I have it open here. So this is my textbook. It opens up on this page for some reason, but here's my textbook. This is what it looks like. McGraw-Hill, the standard U.S.
McGraw.
textbook. There's a bunch of sections here. There's a bunch of sections. We have some screenshots I took. There's a lot of really shit ones. So it opens up with limits, alternatives, and choices. Implying that there are choices to make in the economy. And there's a lot of stuff here that's completely fucked. But I want to get to their definition of economics first. So if I can find the definition of economics in here, because it's the one that my professor used on day one. So define economics and explain the economic perspective. Okay, we can find that. We can find that. Yeah, it doesn't even open up with the definition of economics. I feel like that should be day one. But no, it doesn't open up with that at all. It actually opens up with talking about economic perspective and scarcity and choice and purposeful behavior and marginal benefits and marginal costs, scientific method, before you even get to the definition of economics, which I feel like in all of these should be the first one. So whatever, we begin with microeconomics and macroeconomics. However, we don't talk about the definition of economics yet, because that's stupid. That's stupid. Here, quick review. Economics examines how individuals, institutions, and societies make choices under conditions of scarcity. That is not economics. That isn't what economics is. Economics is the study of is the study of the creation, the distribution, and the consumption of goods and resources. That's what economics is. Not this. Because scarcity doesn't exist in a lot of content. Like this definition, the way this textbook teaches economics is it's as if capitalism is the only way that economics can exist.
Yeah,
that's how this textbook operates.
Like that's why so many people probably think that digital scarcity is okay.
Yeah. It's not a thing. It can't exist. How do you have digital scarcity? There's no physical warehouse of copies of Glover on fucking Nintendo Switch N64 service. That's right. Put Glover on the N64 online, baby. Nintendo, please put Glover on there. Unless it's already on there and I just don't know. But please put Glover on there. It's Glover. You know Glover?
No.
It's fucking Glover.
Glover.
Fucking Glover.
Oh, I know Glover.
Glover 2. Glover 2 is funny because Glover 2 never came out because Glover 2...
I watched the speedrun or two of Glover.
Glover 2 was planned and eventually canceled, but Glover 2 was funny because they made too many copies and something. They announced it was being developed with the first year. The game was set to continue with this. The game was expected to release mid-99, then it played the following year, but it ended up getting canceled along with another N64 game, Frogger 2. In 2011, it was reported that News World required a copy of Glover 2. The Hasbro had planned on acquiring 1,500 units of N64 cartridges for the game. At the time, Nintendo had a special deal that would give the discount purchase more cartridges. An employee of Hasbro said that the cartridges bumped around 300,000. Hasbro was left with approximately 1,500 units as retailers didn't own any additional stock, costing Hasbro roughly $500,000 worth of stock that could not be sold. Hasbro was forced to take a loss on all the extra cartridges in order and decided to cancel the project due to its financial situation. The game was around 80 to 85% complete. They bought too many cartridges of Glover.
Unfinished fucking cartridges of Glover. You have
too much Glover. No.
You have to love that. Like,
but yeah, that's economics, baby.
It's economics.
But yeah, this economics textbook treats economics as though the only way of operating economics is through capitalism, which basically just goes to be like, oh, communism doesn't exist. Communism can't exist because it makes no sense. Blah 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 blah. Despite the fact that Marx was an economist. Anyway, let's go to the first screenshot, which is this one. This is talking about why property is good. Why private property is good. I could find the specific bit here. Public, was it supply and demand? Was it this part? No, it was a market system. I think it was probably market system. Characteristics of the market system. No. How the market system deals with risks. No, that was something different. Economic systems? Market system?
Just go to the screenshot, it's there.
I know, but I want to find the specific actual part to show that I'm not making this up. Freedom. Oh, private property. Here it is. here, this is the part I'm coming from. This is the screenshot I took. It's from this section on private property. But the screenshot that I took, private property rights also encourage investment, innovation, and economic growth. Nobody would stock a store, build a factory, or clear land for farming if someone else or the government itself could take away the property at any moment. This is complete bogus, because
Yeah,
before the existence of private property, people were stocking stores. They didn't have factories back then, but they would build like farms and stuff.
they had their de facto
They
factories,
would
not
build
farms in
blacksmithies.
Israel.
They would build forges and shit. They would build their versions of what we've been like their industry, and they would farm without the threat.
Like charcoal people, the what they call them,
You talking about?
the tanners,
Oh,
like
yeah, like
tanners,
kiln workers and shit. Like
kiln
fucking
workers,
glass blowers and stuff, like artisans.
people,
Artisans did their
artisans.
shit.
But like people, like those
Under
were
this
the
system
factories of their
before
day.
private
They had
property.
to make tons of shoes. They
Private
had to make
property, the existence of private property only is in existence around like the 1700s. Before that, like, what do you think people were doing? Just throwing mud at each other? No, they had fucking societies. There were whole empires that existed and fell before this time, before the modern idea of private property came to be. There was private property in the sense of like personal property, like this is my house, you can't break into my house, but it wasn't private property. There's a difference between private and public property. Like obviously, like there's things like, oh, this is the king's land, but still that wasn't the modern sense of private property. It's not like the king could buy and sell that land. Like it's just his land. It's his by divine right. Not a good system in that way, but still, this idea that private property is the only way that people can actually build things and do things is completely ridiculous.
It's bad.
Yeah, encourage owners to improve or maintain their properties to increase its value. More often than not, a lot of property, well, this is the case of NIMBYs, a lot of times property owners will refuse to develop land because it'll change the value of their land. Right now in New Jersey, there's a place called LBI, Long Beach Island, where there was an initiative to build a bunch of offshore wind farms on off the shore of LBI. But a lot of NIMBYs were like, this will ruin our property value of our beachfront properties if there are wind farms in the distance. So then they fucking did a whole massive campaign to get people to vote against the wind farms, and guess what? The wind farms aren't getting built because a bunch of NIMBY Republicans decided to go, no, we don't want to increase the property value. We don't want to fuck with the property value of our stuff. We want it to increase, not decrease. Despite the fact that that's just gonna be underwater because you didn't build the fucking wind farm. So fuck you, NIMBYs. Fuck you. Living on the coast makes me despise NIMBYs so much because so much of it is just people who are going to lose their houses in 20 years because they refuse to build fucking offshore wind farms or solar panel farms. It's just ridiculous, completely ridiculous.
Like they're even fighting nuclear.
They've always fought nuclear.
Look, nuclear is not the best option.
Nuclear is the best, but it's pretty damn fucking good. It's pretty damn fucking good.
Compared to
like the best is like the best is like hydrological. The best is hydrological and geothermal. Those are like the ones that give you the most amount of energy for the amount of effort you do, and they're also the ones that do probably the least amount of environmental destruction. Is geothermal, which is very regionally dependent. Like you can't do that in America because there's no real places to do a geothermal plant unless you want to go to like Yellowstone. And hydrological, which again, not very easy able to do on a large scale. Like obviously China's got a shit ton of it, like the Three Gorges Dam and stuff, and we got it with the Hoover Dam. But like, those are two like very regional things. But nuclear power, if you want to get a lot of power in an area that can't get those other two things, build a nuclear power plant. If you're doing it in a safe way, those things are fucking incredible. They're incredible. I am a nuclear head all the way.
We have one here in the Western Cape. If you
we had one. We have one.
Coburg.
We have one. We've had a few in New Jersey too. Like, but like they get shut down all the fucking time, especially there in the 80s. The 3 Mile Island incident in the 70s was a huge thing that got a lot of people to be like, oh no, because there was in that incident was when let me increase the size of this. The 3 Mile Island incident was when a nuclear power plant kind of like leaked a bit, but it was because of maintenance. It was because of like short understaffing and because of like cutting costs. It wasn't because of the inherent dangerousness of nuclear power. It's because people weren't treating it right, which is also what happened in Chernobyl. Like it's so fucking annoying because people will point to structural problems and say that it's an inherent part of what they're dealing with. It happens all the fucking time because people are stupid. Anyway, on to point 3 here. Enable people to spend their time and resources increasing the production of goods and services rather than devote money and time to protecting and retaining their property. They're just essentially saying that if people can just own the land, then they won't have to fight court battles, and instead they can use that money to build their land. This is completely stupid because you're not going to be fighting court battles if there's no private property, like what is the point? This is only an issue because of like first of all, there is still this. People still try to outbuy people on their private property. Like what the fuck? What rather than devote
Yeah.
time and money protecting and retaining the private rights that already exist? There are so many people in like New York City and like Chicago and shit who have to, in LA especially, who have to like fight to keep ownership of like their business, or their small business, or whatever the fuck, from like a big corporate coming in and thinking. And a lot of like small town rural areas, like in West Virginia, whatever, a lot of like private property areas that these people would probably love to defend just get bought up by like Walmart, and then they build a fucking Walmart there. Like they don't give a shit. This is
Yeah.
such a
And
nothing
then the
point.
Walmart turns to shit because
And then they abandon
like,
the Walmart, and then nobody has jobs anymore. That's what fucking happens all the fucking time. So this is a completely dog shit point that is just completely brought
this
up for
last
no
point
reason.
is the one that boils me.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the one that I'm like,
And I know, but you don't understand. Here's a different perspective to take it from, right?
yeah. Okay,
These
so
intellectual property rights. What's eventually happening is that you have
oh, I don't agree with like the way it's currently set up. I think that there should be a system to make sure your stuff doesn't get stolen. That's pretty much the only reason why I defend copyright laws, because I do think there's a way that protects the ownership of like a song or like a movie or something from someone. Like I wouldn't want my stuff to be stolen.
Corporations abusing this.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Extend, like,
I think
the
there should be a complete
lifespan
reform.
of their copyright
like
on
Disney.
things like
Disney
Mickey
completely,
fucking Mouse.
yeah, Disney
Like, you're
completely
not
rewrote
allowed to
copyright
make.
law in like the 60s and 70s and 80s, like all over and over again. They constantly rewrite the
Yeah.
law over and over again so that Disney and other corporations are able to keep hold of their IPs. I think that's bad. I think that's bad as hell. Like Mickey Mouse should be completely a public domain by now. But I'm talking like I do think that there should be some sort of protection for artists and creators and stuff for their content. I do think that's a thing. So this is the one that I'm least
living
annoyed by.
artists who create
Yes.
something.
I think there should be a little
But-
time afterwards to make sure your legacy isn't completely erased as soon as you're dead. Maybe like 10 years or some shit, 15 years, to make sure it's still cemented as yours. But then after that, it's public domain. Like, because sometimes I'm sure there are companies who are going to wait and see as soon as someone dies, erase their legacy. This is actually Disney branding instead of like, I don't know.
The joke is that
the guy
Disney
essentially
essentially took things out of public domain.
Yeah.
Like, you can make your own Cinderella story and all that, but if it's not anything like Disney's, then nobody's gonna care. And if it is anything like Disney's,
Then Disney's gonna care.
give their IP rights.
Yeah.
So it actually actively prevents. That's my issue with that last statement, is that the way it's being implemented.
It's defending the corporations' uses of copyright law.
Defending the corporations, yeah.
Long-term protection encourages people to write books, compose
it
music,
doesn't protect the actual
and invent
artists.
new products and production processes. Yeah, it's saying in order to invent new stuff instead of like I don't know, having a cultural identity around certain characters and being able to use them in new ways. But whatever, that's cool. Next screenshot. This is dealing with losses. This is in a section where they're talking. I think you can actually see it up around here with the where was it? It was Richardson's. It was around here somewhere. Maybe this one. I don't know. It was somewhere around here. I pulled it up a while ago. But dealing with losses. So the part here that really annoys me is just the part at the bottom here. Where it's talking about employees, saying that employees are protected. But throughout all those months and losses, the suppliers and employees are safeguarded because they are paid on time and in full. They are shielded from the firm's business risks, whether it is generating profit or a loss. However, they are not legally entitled to share in the profits in the firm if it ends up being profitable. The privilege is reserved under the market system for firm owners and is rewarded bearing business risks. So much shit wrong about this one. First of all, it says that
none of the risk is carried by the owner because they can just lay off a bunch of people, liquidate, and get their money back.
Exactly. This whole book, I haven't found one instance of the term layoff or downsizing, firing, liquidation. I mean, liquidation comes up, but like not in the context of like just liquidating and abandoning a company. But like in context like this, they go, oh no, the employees are protected because the business owner will take care of them. No,
they just
not at all.
Employees anymore.
No, not on the side. None of this. This is completely ridiculous. Like in terms of like, oh, they're not shielded from any loss. No, they just get fired, motherfucker. Or they do crunch time. They have to work more hours. Like they get fucking. Of course they do. Of course they suffer the fucking.
More work, less pay.
Yeah.
More work, less pay.
They go, oh, we won't change your pay. We'll just change how much you make an hour, and then we'll work you more hours. Therefore, you're making the same amount of money. You're just working more time. You know. We're not docking your pay. We're just changing your hours.
I won't give away the game on this one, but my mother works for a large company, a large international
Trump
company
Enterprise.
that deals in insurance. And what's happening is that her cost center, she deals with complaints, customer complaints. She's in that department.
Mm.
Her cost center is a loss to the company. So the company as a whole keeps pulling resources away to the point where, like, you have a team of 4 people doing the job of 40 people.
Yeah, very common. Very, very, very
And
common,
like
especially in like
that's more
media
what happened
studios.
than anything they're describing here.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a complete like justification of like downsizing, liquidation, and all that sort of stuff. To be like, oh no, we're actually taking care of the employees. Um, As for the next screenshot, this is promoting enterprise. This one was specifically on developing countries. That's what the DVC stands for, is developing countries. And this part I picked out because it was very funny to me. It was very funny. The lack, so promoting. So basically this is in a section saying how third world countries, developing countries, can improve their economic status. Right. This is how they can get out of slump. A lot of them were like open up globalization, work more the with the with the developed countries, right? That sort of deal. But then this one's really funny to me. The lack of sizable and vigorous entrepreneurial class in some developing countries means that private enterprise is not capable of spearheading the growth process. Government may have to take the lead at first, but many developing countries would benefit by converting some of their state enterprises into private firms. State enterprises are often inefficient, more concerned with providing maximum employment than introducing modern technology, delivering goods and services at minimum per unit cost. Moreover, state enterprise are poor incubators for developing profit-focused entrepreneurial people who leave the firm up to their own business. Disgusting. Absolutely
Absolutely
disgusting. Hey,
disgusting.
your country's suffering? Privatize everything and make it so there's less jobs available. And also, for the sake of modern technology, because government institutions are just so burdened with having to give people jobs. Go fuck yourself, whoever wrote this book.
So,
Absolutely go fuck yourself. Genuinely.
so this is approaching it from such a wrong
It's
standpoint
literally
because
big
look,
yourself up by your bootstraps
I
type shit.
I live in what this book would
This
describe
book
as
literally describes your country as a third world country, as a developing country. It says like it says you're the one just below being a developed country. Like you're on the same level as like China, it says, which is funny. So
oh oh
I would not say that your country's on the same level as China. Uh, International trade, uh, economic. Here it is. Economic. The rich and poor classifications. Yeah, South Africa's on the same level as China, Russia, Brazil, Mexico, Thailand, Argentina. If this book was made today, Argentina would be on the same level as like fucking Democratic Republic
I
of
will
Congo.
say, look, as far as Africa goes as a continent,
You're
South
not that
Africa
bad.
is a pretty fucking
You're pretty
stable
stable.
ass place
You're pretty
as
stable.
far as economics, as far as social issues, as far
Yeah,
as
I think this
like
book
it's
is
just much
downplaying
more
China. I
stable
think this
than
book is downplaying China. Really, is the thing.
that wouldn't surprise me considering how much business is done with China.
Yeah, China is incredibly downplayed here. Like, really, it is downplayed. Like, sure, the average person in China doesn't have the same living conditions as the average person in the U.S., mostly because there's more people in China, and a lot of them are living out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But if you're talking about like city centers in China, they have like the same living conditions as America. Like that, China should definitely be bumped up by one here, especially because of how much business is conducted in China. Like Shanghai, Hong Kong, Beijing, so much fucking shit going on. Oh my god.
But like herein lies the problem, right? Like I do think that turning a lot of companies away from being privatized would be a good thing, but at the same time, it's very dependent on what government you have,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because in South
It always
Africa, for
is.
example, right, like I told you, the biggest problem in our government was corruption. Now, if you have a corrupt government, of course, you don't want the corrupt people running your public sector things like electricity and shit like that.
Here's the corruption index. South Africa. Oh,
Let
South
me
Africa
see.
isn't on here. But South Korea is on here. So I would probably like. What would you say? South Africa would be on a list like this of corruption, with New Zealand being the most corruption, Somalia.
Let
Sorry,
me
New Zealand
see.
being the least, New Zealand being Somalia being the most corrupt country. I would
Zero
personally,
is
from an outsider
highly
view, I'd put you
corrupt.
around Mexico, like around
I
here,
would
because Mexico's
say
pretty damn fucking corrupt.
we would be more corrupt than Mexico, less corrupt than
So
Venezuela.
like right around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Like we're the African sort of the South African sort of culture of it is like very heavily corrupt.
Yeah. Here's the public
It's
sector
getting
problem.
better. It's getting better since
I
they've
just found this
controlled.
section. I want to skim through this part real quick. The public sector problems. This is under the section again of the economics of developing countries. Although the public sector can positively influence economic development, serious problems can and do arise with government directive initiatives. Indeed, development experts are less enthusiastic about the role of government in the growth process than they are a few decades ago. Unfortunately, government administrations and corruption are common in developing countries, and government's officials sometimes line their own pockets with foreign aid funds, opposed to corporate pockets, which are never lined
Yeah.
with private interest. Moreover, political leaders are often confer monopoly privileges on relatives, friends, and political supporters, and grant exclusive rights to relatives and friends. Importantly, yeah, because none of these political
Yes.
supporters are companies ever in their lives. So these political supporters, companies.
So on this note specifically, when COVID hit South Africa, the government banned the sale of cigarettes.
Yeah,
But obviously illegal like imported cigarettes were still like funneled into the country. The
yeah.
thing is that they found out that one of the kingpins of the illegal cigarette trade in South
It
Africa
was
during
Jacob
COVID
Zuma.
was Jacob Zuma's son.
Oh, he was his son. Okay. I was like, I know where this is going. It's gonna be
But
Jacob
on
Zuma.
that same note, do you think none of that money kicked uphill?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
That's his son.
Yeah,
And you know what happened to his son?
nothing,
Nothing.
nothing at all.
Nothing.
Yeah, they basically privatized the cigarette industry to his son. That's basically what
Yes.
happened there. But yeah, we have a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit, and a lot of the stuff is basic, like just explaining how the Fed works and what is fiscal economic policies. And those are things that I don't have enough education on to speak about. It's the things when it refers to like definitions of what a lot of these things are. Like I could comment on like a lot of these early stuff and a lot of these later stuff, but this middle stuff, I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck, honestly. I don't really think this book's gonna have an incorrect definition of inflation unless it talks about how to decrease inflation, in which they're like, oh, just a tariff. I don't know, like. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to go through this whole fucking book. I don't want to. I'm already going to have this as a class. I'm already going to have to read this book for class. I'm not going to go through the whole thing
Yeah,
right now.
totally agree.
It'll be something that I'll talk about in private. I'm not going to talk about this thing on the podcast
Yeah.
unless something
Rent, you
particularly
can
fucked
rent
up
to me
happens.
another time.
Yeah, but this whole thing completely pissed me off when I was going through it, especially trying to find the book for hours, trying to pirate it, and then eventually finding it on a different class
And then it's
page,
this.
and then it's this. I'm so upset. I'm so upset, and I know it's gonna be hell to go through because uh, it's a fucking class full of business majors and a professor who can barely speak. And by the way, she's Indian and the whole class is white. They're gonna make fun of her. I just know it behind her back. They're gonna make fun of her, and especially in a county like where I live in, they're gonna make fun of her.
Rough.
It's gonna be a rough class. It's gonna be a completely rough class. Um, yeah. That's the economics book. This took me a while to get going with. It was really annoying to find, but I'm happy I did find it because that way I can actually just pass the fucking class. Uh, yeah. So I guess I can talk about for a bit about some things about the business major again. So the books like this. So economics is a very complicated topic to talk about in academia because a lot of time economists are no, so economists obviously have a role in government. They influence politicians. They tell politicians what good plans are to
Right,
propose for
right,
certain things.
right.
And a lot of the times, people are in high positions of economy, like economists or whatever, are paid off by like corporations to represent their interests. You know, propose this tax plan or propose this tariff to this president so that way we can have our interests secured. So a lot of government paid economists are like complete shills most of the time. A lot of the real economists, people who aren't paid off shills, are completely fucking ignored by the government in all countries all the fucking time. This is a very known issue. Happens all the goddamn time. And a lot of times these shills are the people who also they get the money that goes to these shills is the same money that goes to making these textbooks. And the people who read these textbooks and swear to them by their heart aren't economists. They aren't the people who go to school and then become an economist by like their career, by their profession. They go and they become small business owners. They go and they become like they become real estate agents, right? They don't become economists. They don't go and become they don't become a philosopher of the economy, right? Sometimes they do, and they mostly go down the libertarian route a lot of the times. But they don't become academics. They go into business owning because they're business majors. Those are the people who read these books and swear by them with their life. Because they're complete shill book. It's made for shills by shills. It's like shill bop instead of kids bop. It's shill bop. It's completely
It
fucking
really
insane.
just reinforces my dislike
Oh
of
shit! I
business
forgot to turn
people
off
in general.
Steam notifications. Yeah, no, the just complete stupidity. What's that movie? What's the movie where they're like greed, for a lack of better terms, is good? What movie is that from? Because that quote is one of the worst things. And that movie is it feeds into a lot. Uh, uh, Wall Street. It's the movie called Wall Street. Yeah, from 1987. This movie,
Yeah.
feeds into a lot of delusions about like business and stuff. This movie, yeah. I'm sure it's like a good movie in terms of like a composition, like acting level. I'm sure all these actors, Michael
Starring
Douglas and shit, Charlie Sheen.
Carlos Estevez.
Oh no, oh god. Oh, I didn't realize.
Carlos.
There he is.
Carlos.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the
It's
acting in this
Charlie
movie is good. I'm sure it's a well shot movie. It's directed by Oliver Stone, so like it's not
There was a
exactly out of
sequel.
nowhere. The guy made
There
Scarface,
was
right?
a sequel in the 2010s.
Really?
Yeah, there was a sequel to this shot in the 2010s.
Huh. It's
Yeah,
got
Money
Michael
Never
Douglas
Sleeps.
again because he was in the last movie. That's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and Josh Brolin,
Whoa, Susan Sarandon. Why are
Carey
you in?
Mulligan, Frank Langella.
This is insane. Um, yeah, but yeah, you know, this movie feeds into a lot of the like the idea of what Wall Street business is, of the idea of how it works and shit, and it's complete fucking stupidity, bogus, ridiculous shit.
80s era, like
Yeah,
cocaine fueled
yeah, like
business.
Reaganite, like
Yeah,
Reaganomics type shit, like complete stupidity. Complete stupidity, trickle down, greed, for a lack of better terms, is good.
Gordon Belfort, or
Yeah.
motherfuckers,
Uh, yeah,
evil,
evil shit, evil
stupid
shit.
evil. What's it?
Uh,
Chaotic evil, the stupid
Chaotic,
evil.
yeah, the stupid evil. Um, but yeah, economics is annoying. The class is annoying. Business majors are annoying. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But the rest of my classes seem to be promising. I'm excited for SL. I'm really excited for world literature because I get to read like Virgil's Aeneas, and Dante's Inferno.
Aeneid,
Uh, it'll be
the
fun.
Aeneid.
The Aeneid. That's what my professor was calling it, and she's like, uh,
American.
yeah, and also like has a master's in like literature and has like written
But
poetry and
she is
shit.
American.
But she's American, yes. And you're South
So,
African, and neither of us are Italian, where the needs were
and
written.
I did also study at a university, and I did study ancient cultures, and
Yeah, and neither of us are Latin, which is what a needs is. So
Aeneid.
the needs.
One of us is gonna be wrong, and it's probably me. That's not
I
to
thought it
say
was the
that,
Aeneid. I thought it was the Aeneid. I thought that was called the Aeneid.
that's what I say. Not to say that you're right either. Both of us could be wrong.
I
Both
have
of
no
us
idea.
could
I'm
be
just
wrong.
going off what my professor said, so I don't know. I don't
This
know.
is why we have a
I thought
common.
she was saying it differently than how I say it. She looked like
It's part of,
she looked like Miranda sings, honestly. You know what I'm talking about? She looked like
yeah.
that.
There's the ukulele apology lady.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically the persona where she's got like the smeared lipstick and shit.
Before we
She looks
do
like a
end
wine
today,
mom.
I'm gonna show off one more
Oh no,
thing.
I have something I want to talk about too. So we can talk about this and then talk about something else.
I'm
Coburg
just
nuclear
gonna
power
show
plant.
that off.
That's a very classy nuclear power plant. I like that. That's
Yep.
classy looking.
This is in Cape Town.
That's very classy, I think.
This is our nuclear power plant.
I like the
And
colors on it. I like that.
look, it's been going
1976.
since '84.
That's crazy. We have a few in New Jersey. I just forget the names of them. I could really quickly try to see if I can find one.
But
New
I just had to show that off.
Jersey nuclear plants. Let's see real quick. There's one in Salem. I know that. List of power stations in New Jersey. Nuclear. Yeah, there's only two that are still going. Hope Creek in Lower Alloways Creek, which is in Salem down south, and then there's Salem Nuclear Power Plant in the same place. So these are the only two. There was old ones that got shut down. Oyster Creek, which was shut down in 2018. This is the one that I was thinking of. Oyster Creek in Lacey. This is Oyster Creek. It was shut down in 2018. I forget why. It was one of the 4 nicest in New Jersey. The other 2 are in Salem. And as of 2005, New Jersey ranked 9th among 31 states with nuclear capacity. It had size. It was Hurricane Sandy hit. It was flooded because of the hurricane, which, to be fair, we don't get hurricanes around here. There was a seismic risk taken of it in 2010, so it was shut down for like safety reasons. But
that's fair.
It's fair. It's fair. It got hit by a hurricane. It got hit by a hurricane, and it was structurally unsound. So they closed it.
Have what we call natural disasters.
Yeah, you don't have hurricanes. You don't have earthquakes. You don't have like tornadoes. America's got all that shit.
Yeah, like we
you
don't
get like
have
droughts. You get like droughts.
I think once every 5 to 10 years we get a little earthquake in Johannesburg.
Like that's
Summers we sometimes have water shortages. Sometimes droughts. I wouldn't really say that's.
Well, I just say like everywhere gets droughts. Really, if you're in an area that gets hot weather, you get droughts.
Yeah, like I would say more in the north side of South Africa.
Yeah.
The real droughts
near where like more
areas like sub-Saharan desert. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And then I think the worst things that really hit Cape Town is a bit of flooding now.
I was gonna say
we had flooding this year,
right?
And that's about, I'd say, the real worst of it.
Yeah. Okay. So on to the last thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about a show called Black White. Black period, white period.
Okay.
It's a show that ran in 2005 for 6 episodes, I believe.
Okay.
It is produced by Ice Cube.
Okay.
And it aired on FX.
Interesting.
I want to play
interesting shows.
I want to play the opening of the show with no comment.
Okay, but is the music not going to get hit?
No, they don't play the music immediately.
Okay.
My name is Bruno, and I became a black person.
Okay. Oh.
No one knew that I was actually black when I had my white makeup
on. Okay.
For 6 weeks.
And this was produced
by Ice Cube.
Got together in a house in the valley in LA, and we decided to swap races.
Would go into makeup and become the opposite race. We became black, they became white. Then we moved in together.
We're talking living together, it's not like, see them
it's insane.
And they go their way and we go our way. No, at night we all live under the same roof.
The whole experience, it opened my eyes, just made me more aware of my race.
This is Black White. It's a show. You can see it, 32% likes.
Okay.
No, okay. It's very controversial. It won an Emmy. It won an Emmy for makeup, by the way. It won an Emmy for its makeup.
Fair. But
it's blackface winning. It's blackface that won an Emmy.
Before next week's podcast, make sure I watch at least one full episode.
We will. I watched it with David. He said we had to turn it off because of how bad it got.
Oh, I
he was like, I can't. He's like, I can't sit through this. So I put on a video of someone else covering it. So that way, it was like more of like a people laughing at it, and we were laughing with them instead of just watching it on completely unfettered. We will watch it. We could watch the whole show. It's 6 episodes, all on YouTube. We could watch the whole show. It's insane.
And see if we go from there. Maybe
we can watch that series that I was talking about with David, where we watch people laughing at it. We can laugh with them. We can watch those because those are funny, good commentary of it, and it's not. It's like a watered down. We're not getting directly from the tap. It garnered controversy for its subject matter and perceived enforcement of racial stereotypes. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The main guy here, Bruno Marcatulli. He's the white father. He is so racist. It's insane. You can see here, they're called the Wurgles in the show, the White family. They're the Wurgles. They got divorced because of how racist this guy was. I'm 90% sure.
wow.
He was so
Okay,
racist that his
I'm
wife
excited.
divorced him. He said in the
I'm
first episode, he says the N-word 6 times, hard R,
Hard R.
while he's in blackface. Not even while he's in. It's an insane show. I really do want to watch it with you. It's insane. I needed to show it on the podcast. I needed to get your reaction recorded and stuff. I needed to see it. This show,
Horrendous.
it's infamous. It's infamous.
This is
Emmy
wilder than
award-winning
when I found
blackface.
out that they tried to make a sitcom about living next door to Hitler.
Heil, honey, I'm home.
Yes.
Yeah, that's infamous. Also, my favorite. I think it's lost media for the most part. I think this is mostly lost media, or at least most of this is lost media. Which is honestly, I want to find it. I want to find
so
it.
cursed.
My favorite, actually, I'll say this. My favorite piece of lost media that I want to find is The Day the Clown Cried.
Day the Clown Cried. I don't think I know that one.
The Day the Clown Cried is an unfinished, unreleased 1972 Swedish-French drama starred by Jerry Lewis. It is based on the original screenplay by Joan O'Brien and Charles Denton from the story idea of O'Brien with an additional Mr. Lewis. The film was controversy regarding its premise and the content, which features a circus clown who is imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp. So it's about a clown going to Auschwitz, essentially. Apparently, the guy said it'll come out after in 40 years. It'll be aired to the public, which means in like a couple of years he's gonna release it. So I'm very excited for that day. I think it was this film at least. But yeah, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
fucking Jerry Lewis.
Joseph Levitch?
Huh?
Interesting.
He's from Newark.
His real name. Joseph Levitch.
From Newark. Yeah, but Jerry Lewis. He directed this.
I feel like Joe Levitch would have been a cool stage name too.
Joe Levitch is a better name. But Jerry Lewis. Well, Joe Levitch has like
connotation.
Yeah, connotations to it.
I don't agree with
Jewish,
them, but I think Joe Levitch would have been a cool fucking stage name.
Yeah, the thing is, 1960s, Jewish name. Yeah, it's better. For his sake, it was probably better off that he changed his name for his his career.
Time for him for his career, but
nowadays he probably would have gone as Levitch.
Yeah. It's interesting when you see the artists and people whose names aren't real. For example, like
Charlie Sheen, yeah, Carlos Estevez.
Martin Sheen as well. Martin Sheen fucking broke me when I found his real name.
Same with Charlie Sheen. I could have never guessed his name is fucking Estevez.
Like Martin Sheen's name is actually his birth name is like one of those long. We have like 9 names in here names.
Oh, that's because he's Spanish.
Yeah,
because Spanish people do that.
Carlos. Estevez.
Yeah, but Spanish people do those whole like 40 million names. Pablo Picasso's full name is like 40 words. Pablo Picasso. Full name. Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Maria de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. Or Pablo Picasso for short. Like, what the fuck?
That's wild.
This is Spanish shit. Oh, I could talk about Pablo Picasso for a while. You know, we should talk about artists on stream sometime, like classical, like art style and stuff. I fucking love Picasso. Guernica. I love Guernica.
It shows off how uncultured I am.
Yeah, but like I'm also uncultured too. You know. I just like Guernica. I want to see it in person. But yeah, we'll end stream now. I think we'll end it after talking about Heil, honey, I'm home. No, and sorry, and the podcast. I'm silly. We went for hour 13, which is pretty sizable time, pretty nice time. Yeah, I had fun. This is a good recording session. I had fun. I was worried that I wouldn't have a lot to say about the things I brought up, but no, I had plenty to say. I think it's fun. Jade, you want to give us the goodbyes here, the final goodbye?
The final goodbyes. The final goodbye.